Hello everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so we were discussing globalization. Okay, we finished globalization, right? Then we also discussed about the MNC and foreign direct investment, and we, we also started international trade. Okay, so but let's review the last topic a bit. Okay, then we'll move to the next chapter. Okay. Okay, so last we discussed about the international trade. Okay, so we'll discuss a bit more about this chapter, then we'll move to the next chapter. Okay, so here what's happening that international trade means trading between countries. All right. So the most popular form of international trade is like export and import. Okay, so uh, whenever we are selling to another country, that's export, and when we are buying from another country, that's import. Okay. So what are the benefits of international trade? Okay, so obtaining goods that cannot be produced domestically. Okay, so when we fail to produce certain products in our country, then what will happen? We must buy it from other countries. Okay. So it can be natural resources, like maybe in our country it's not available, so we have to bring it from other country where they have abundant and are willing to share with us, right? Willing to sell us. Okay. Next, we have obtaining goods that cannot be bought more can be bought more cheaply from overseas. Okay. So suppose we can produce them, but we are producing it at a very high price. Whereas in overseas countries, they can produce them in a cheaper manner. Okay, so that's what we have here. So think about onion. And onion in our country is quite cheap, but in our other countries, in some other countries, you'll find that it's even cheaper. So it will be a situation where it will be like easier to. Uh, it will be cheaper to purchase from other countries. Suppose if you buy onion from India or uh, some other places like Egypt, Pakistan, over there you'll have onion at a much more cheaper rate. Okay, and so you'll find that yeah, lots of other foreign yeah, lots of other foreign version of onion is also available in our country because they're cheaper. Okay. So next we have improving consumers' choice. Okay. And so international trade gives us a wider choice. Okay. So what's happening that um, so maybe you're bored with the local options. So international trade will provide with much more mm, uh, greater ranges of options. Okay. And, and so that's another good thing. Think about all the like suppose maybe when international trade was not so available at that time, maybe like potato chips, like there was not much options, but now we have so many options, different type of chips available in our country, so it's possible because of international trade. Okay. Next, we have selling unwanted commodities. Okay, so we have commodities like we have commodities like um, like in our country, we have so many. Let's not a commodity like. So let's talk about a commodity like oil. Okay, so Middle East have a huge amount of oil, right? So they can sell off all these oils to other countries. Okay, so the countries who lack oil, they can get this item from them, right? So that's another benefit of international trade. Okay. So when a country has abundant amount of resources, at that time they can sell, and the countries who likes them, they can easily get it from them. Okay, so that's another advantage. Suppose think about you have also observed like immigration taking place, like your friends and family moving to other country. Okay, so why it's happening? Because we have abundant amount of human resources. We have so many people in our country, so we can always send people to countries where they lack people. Okay. So immigration is a very important thing. Next, we have free trade. So this is where the government allows open access to the markets in its country. The government does not place any restrictions on the amount of goods coming in. At the same time, it encourages firms to sell goods and services abroad. Mm, okay. So see what's happening that because of free trade, the goods and services from around the world can enter your country, and you could also uh, get buy them or sell them without any restrictions. Okay, so that's why it's called free trade. It doesn't mean that we are buying it or selling for free. It means trading without restriction. Okay. So what are the benefits? So one of the main benefits of free trade is like choice and competition. That means that consumers can get more choice, okay, like we just discussed. Okay. So because of free trade, easily goods and services can reach you okay, without restrictions. Okay. So for choice, many kind of varieties of goods and services will reach you. Free trade often provides competition for domestic producers. This is because most countries import goods that they can also produce themselves. Okay, so what happens that when you're importing, so it will become a competition for the local producers as well, because local producers may be producing similar items. So when the local producers are producing similar items, so they'll face competition from international market or international competitors. Okay, so see that what's happening that so competition is a good thing because the local farms may struggle at the beginning, but later on they will try to improve their quality, or they'll try to be more efficient or more productive so that they can compete with the foreign items. Okay, so ultimately it's a good thing for the farm, and also good thing for the consumers as well, because consumers will get access to high quality goods in a cheaper manner. Okay, so ultimately, the benefit will go to all the people of the country, because they'll be able to improve the standard of living. Next, we have growth and GDP. International trade allows the advantages from specialization to be extended. Okay, so if countries specialize in the production of goods in which they are more efficient, the global economy will be benefited. Goods and services all over the world will be produced in locations where costs are minimized. So it means that consumers all over the world can buy goods at the cheapest possible prices. This will help the world economy to grow and make better use of the world's resources. If countries are free to specialize and trade, firms will be selling to larger markets. This means that they will be able to exploit economies of scale because their output will be higher. This will help to lower costs and improve efficiency. Okay, so see what's happening. So another good thing about free trade is that it will help firms to specialize. They can specialize on uh, this will help them to become more productive and more efficient. Okay, so this will help them to produce at the lowest possible prices. Okay, so it's uh, so it will help the producers because now they will be producing goods and services for all over the world. So it will help them to achieve economies of scale. Okay, so economies of scale will uh, help the firms to reduce the average cost. So as a result, what will happen? It will be a very motivating thing for the farms to increase the production. So next, we have disadvantages of free trade. So we have over specialization, unemployment, and environmental damages. Okay, so we just discussed the advantages of free trade, but however, there are some disadvantages as well, like over specialization. So a country may become too dependent on a narrow range of goods. Okay, so if demand and price of goods falls, the nation suffer a loss of trade and income. So primary goods also have low income elasticity, and when the global economy grows, demand for them will not increase at the same pace. Countries need to avoid over specialization and try to diversify in some way. Okay, so what's happening that if you're over specializing, that means you are depending too much on the foreign orders. Okay, so the foreign you're trying to specialize to achieve economies of scale or increase productivity or efficiency. But what's happening that ultimately you are becoming too much dependent on a narrow range of goods and services. Okay, so if something mm, happens, like maybe there's a recession, or like think about the current situation of the world, that there is we are suffering from a pandemic situation, right? COVID-19 breakthrough is all over the world, and it's causing a negative effect in the economy. So while the economy in some countries are suffering recession, and some countries are fearing that they will soon suffer from a severe yeah, unemployment problem and recession. So so in this kind of situation, what will happen? The demand for goods and services will fall because people are not earning much, right? So, and if you are dependent on that country's order, then you'll be in trouble because suppose these orders we are getting from the ready-made garments. Okay, so the European countries are giving orders to our country for ready-made garments, and because of the pandemic situation or recession, what may happen that European country may end up paying losing jobs, and they won't be able to afford clothing, or they'll as these are my like luxurious item or income elastic item. So people will be there will be less demand, and this less demand will put our country into trouble because there will be less orders, so our country may even suffer from unemployment. Okay, so that's our next point, unemployment. So countries can suffer when demand pattern changes. Countries reliant on manufacturing for the trade may suffer high level of unemployment if demand for manufactured goods fall. Okay, so this that's an unemployment problem. Okay, as we already discussed it. Okay, so over specialization is a problem. It may also lead to unemployment, and in general, unemployment may be a problem because of the any kind of not because of over specialization, for any kind of situation, as we are dependent on international trade. people may get unemployed. Next, we have environmental damage. Okay, so environmental damage is there because since free trade helps the global economy to grow, it may lead to an increase in environmental damage. This will increase carbon emission and increase in global warming. Okay, so see what's happening that environmental damage may take place. Okay, because as we are producing for the whole world, so what will be happening that our environment will be facing huge amount of production, and whenever production increases, there most likely there will be an adverse effect on the adverse effect on the what environment because there will be air pollution, water pollution, waste disposal on river and land, which will damage the environment. And so, uh, this is a serious problem. Okay, another problem is like global warming. This is a very concerning thing, right? Many people are complaining that yeah, it's becoming hotter day by day, right? So one of the main reason behind this is that we are producing so much. Okay, so as we are producing so much, our production is causing pollution, and this pollution is making our environment hotter because think about um, there are some gases which are making our earth a warmer place. Okay? Like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and some other in geography you and in science classes you learn that it's causing many kind of gases, and this kind of emissions are making this earth a warmer place. Okay? So it's not that you are feeling hot. That's the main problem. It's also making the world imbalanced. Okay, this situation will is melting the icebergs in the regions where there are huge amount of ices. Okay, so when these are melting, the water level is rising. So rising water level will may cause flood. Many countries or even cities are expected to drown soon because of this situation. Okay, so see, this is a serious concern. Okay? And one of the main reason is that we are producing a lot. Okay, that's why it's happening. Okay, so let's discuss these two questions again. We are evaluating that free trade is good for EU, European Union. So say that free trade is good for European Union because in this kind of situation, this kind of question, you'll try to start with the definition. Okay, so first you'll give the definition of free trade, then you can support that yeah, it's good for you. So EU means European Union. It's a trading bloc, and inside this trading bloc, there will be free flow of goods and services, resources, capital, everything. Why? Because they are enjoying free trade. Okay, so there are not much restriction between them. Okay, so what are the benefits? We already discussed the benefits above. Let's go through again. Like see, the benefits were like choices are rising, competition is rising, so price is falling, quality is improving, and the rise in growth and GDP. That means huge amount of production is taking place, so the GDP of the countries are increasing. Okay, so trading without barrier will be beneficial for all the European countries who are member of European Union, right? Okay. Then you'll say that, however, there are some negative effects as well. So see what's happening here that there are over specialization. They're getting over specialized. Mm, and so see what's happening that yeah, the over specialization. That means we are getting too much specialized on yeah, on or narrow range of goods. So this may cause serious problem because it will make yeah, specialization or the country's production and difficult. Okay, because um, like we already discussed, the demand pattern, change in demand pattern is causing unemployment, and this over specialization will provide you with a very small number of options. If your particular industries which were contributing the most, and it was income elastic, any kind of recession, world recession or anything will cause a serious problem for you. Okay, so you can mention that. Then you can also mention about the environmental damage. Yes, we are producing more, but we are destroying our environment. So in the long run, it will be a serious problem for us. Okay. So after mentioning, then you can come up with a conclusion. And the question will say evaluate. A reasoned conclusion is a mandatory thing. Why we are saying it's a reasoned conclusion? Because above in the above discussion, we'll find that there are both positive sides and negative sides. So what will we do? We have to come up with a conclusion. We have to take a side. We have to say that which side is better, the positive side or the negative side. So if the positive side is better, then give the conclusion with a particular reason that you mentioned above, and or you can also take the negative side, and so try to give a reason from the above discussion that you just pick a disadvantage and say that this is a very strong disadvantage. That's why this will overweight the advantages. So something like this. So it's a very simple thing. Don't worry. You just have to take a side. Okay, and you can take any side. There is no particular answer. You can say you can support that free trade is good for you, or you can also disagree that yeah no this what environmental damage or over specialization is very harmful. So yeah, you can uh, so the disadvantages overweights the benefits. Okay. Okay, so that's the situation. So there is a recent example as well. There is something called Brexit. Okay, this is a relevant discussion. So have a look. We have Brexit. Okay, so what is Brexit? Brexit means that like Britain is exiting yeah, EU. Okay, so that's the flag of EU. So this blue one, and that's the flag of Britain. So what's happening that Britain was previously a part of the European Union, but when they discovered that it's not so beneficial for us, so they decided to exit European Union. So now Britain is not a part of European Union. So see what's happening that this is a situation where the Britain decided that no, free trade is not beneficial for them, and you'll find some other countries who are still with European Union. So why they're still with them? Because they're seeing that yeah, it's beneficial for them. Okay, so this conclusion can be different for different people. Okay, if you again try to recall the situation where Britain joined the European Union, at that time they were also doubtful as well. So at that time Britain was doubtful, and they were also thinking of there were lots of debate that whether to join European Union or to yeah stay away from it. Okay, so after many kinds of debate and stuff, the European Union, Britain decided to join the European Union, but after a few years, maybe after around 10 years, they decided, no, it's not a good idea. Let's leave. Okay. Okay, so that's the situation. So Britain cut themselves out from the European Union. Okay. So it was a huge debate. You can go through online and come up with more resources to find more answers and more relevant topic. Okay. Okay, another question can be from MNCs are good for India. So we don't have much time today. Okay, so but we discussed it before. Okay, and so again the format is same. You have to start with the definition. then say the good thing about MNC, what are the effect on India, and you'll say that however there are some negative effects as well. Then you'll come up with a conclusion. Okay, so you'll find everything over here, all the good side and bad side. Okay. So if you're facing any problem, let us know. Okay. Okay. Sorry, we are. I haven't noticed all the questions you mentioned. Okay. So, sorry. Okay, I'll be answering them now. Okay. But we have to close the session for now, and I'm answering your questions. Okay. Thank you, everybody. See you in the next lesson. Inshallah.